Hello guys, it's Nathan here from Wise New Home Care Disability Services. Today I'm going to talk to you about this morning. I'm going to talk to you about developing a relationship between you and your participant and what does that actually mean and how to make it successful. So when we talk about a relationship between you and your participant, this has to be one that is built on boundaries because we don't need to know everything about you and you don't need to know everything about your participant that is not relevant to the way you need to perform your duty, your care. In this interim, we are going to use scenarios and statistical, not so much statistics, but the best practice of this. Remembering, your participant doesn't need to know everything about you, and you don't need to know everything about your participant because this can actually cloud your duties towards them or your behavior towards them as well. We have a very good scenarios and things we like to do, obviously, to develop a relationship, such as do we have a cup of coffee with them? This is a very good often place to start because when you're sitting down with them and supervisioning them into your love and duties, you're giving your participants the most of you. And remember, the relationship that you build between should be one that is built on trust, understanding, and above all, honesty. The client, your participant or client, may choose to disclose to you a little bit or a lot. This is up to them at the end of the day. But remember, whatever they tell you, they are telling you this in confidentiality. Confidentiality is a legal and ethical requirement. We cannot breach this as a support worker at all. This would put us in a breach of the law and ethics. We cannot actually do this, by the way. It will lose the trust between you and the participant and put your relationship that you have developed with your client and participant at risk. We don't recommend you do this, however, unless you want to destroy the relationship between you and the participant. But a good way is always be honest with them. Don't say, I understand. Don't say, I feel sorry for you either. Because this often will get the clients back up and really not be a good way of building your relationship with your participant. We want it to be open, we want it to be question. If you've got questions, ask the participant. They will give you the answer, but please do not just go, I know God has a plan for you. Often we don't want to hear those sorts of things. Instead, try to engage them in meaningful talk. Like, tell me about how you grow up. How do you like your coffee? How do you like your care? What sort of things do you need support in? For example, do you need personal care? Do you need domestic assistance? Do you need someone to go to the shops for you? And remember, the engagement part is the talking. But sometimes our participants may not be able to be verbal. They might use communication aids. And we need to learn to use them. Or they might need us to transfer them with voice. So we need to understand how to use the aids and equipment, like the voice behind me. Here, this is called a pivot frame and it works really good. And in later videos, I'll be teaching you how to do all this and what we need to do to keep it safe. And a lot of other little topics to help you understand your clients. But our basic principle here today is to get to building the relationship with our participants. In the start, everything is always going to be new. It's going to be new for you. It's going to be new for the participant. But we try to break the ice by giving you some 4 strategies and information about it from an organisation's perspective. We cannot, as an organisation, however, breach confidentiality ourselves as well. So if we know something that will help you with understanding your participants' needs or your clients' needs, we will tell you this. But then we have to also allow them to tell you information that if they feel comfortable. Remember, relationships are not built overnight with your participant or client. They do take some time to develop. And you need to be patient and understanding with them as well around your expectations. Remembering your expectations and theirs sometimes will not be the same, and it actually is sort of so that no 2 people with the same disability are going to be the same. Remembering, when you have clients facing issues such as dysphagia, bladder and bowel care, we need to make sure we are doing these and performing the task really well, because our participant or client may have other services that are involved in their life care, and often core support workers spend a majority of the time with the participant or client. And this helps you in developing your relationship with your participant or client. You are good at communicating with them, listening, and not giving so much advice, but giving some strategies that the participant or client can use to overcome the challenges in their life. And remembering that we are there to help you and them in this bonding process. And we do encourage everybody to try to get to know their participant in the least amount of time. But we don't want to over bombard our participant with silly questions. So giving a few at a time is a good way of developing this relationship. But also asking them to recall it based on what you remember. So for example, do you remember the way they love their coffee? Do you remember what books they like? Or what movies they like? Or what TV shows they like? Or what music they like? It's a really good way of breaking down the barriers. The barriers that are there are for them as well to not get hurt. So we need to reassure them whatever we do, we are not going to put our participant in harm's way or at harm's risk. So we need to identify the best strategies to give us that quickest way of building our relationship with our participant. But that is to listen to them, to communicate effectively with them. And the best alternatives are always, when in doubt, ask them how they like this. They will honestly answer you these questions, but you need to be fairly and approachable to change the way you feel about things. And don't be afraid to have a celebration when you need to. For example, if the participant's mother tells you that they never usually like certain things, but they change when they see you come on board, and the fact that you're there, you need to celebrate it. Make a big song and dance about it. Because you know what, this actually helps you and them develop the relationship that you need to do. And remember, it is one of harmony. It's not one of conflict or resolution, that conflict all the time. because this could actually end the relationship between you and the participant. We need to also understand our participant's way of feeling is always a good thing to start off with, because if we have to actually do something that breaches the client's trust, we need to be upfront about it, such as if they are at risk of harm, or they tell you that they're at risk of harm, you must tell them up front. And the way we do this is quite frankly by saying the following statement. Hello, Raoul, I have to tell you that I have a limitation into my confidentiality clause, which is if you tell me that you are at risk of harm or committing a crime, I must not actually keep this to myself, but I need to report this, as it is a legal requirement by law that I do so. And I need to make sure that I keep you honest about this. So I'm just letting you know that whatever else you tell me, I have to keep confidential. But if you tell me that you're at risk of harm or that you're committed a crime, I must actually legally and ethically report this, as it is not worth me spending time in jail for this. So please keep the conversations true, honest, and remember, the relationship that you build with your participant or client is very important to you, and it is important to us at New Home Care that you get the trust and build in yours and the participant's relationship together. Remember, this is one that is built on the professional boundaries and code of conduct, not one that is of sexual or financial gain. Because as we know, financial, we cannot abuse the participants' funding or their generosity. Sexual, we cannot be participating in anything that is sexual acts or sexual nature, such as you cannot touch them without the genitals without their consent. And remember, it works both ways. They don't want to touch yours. So keep it professional, keep it respectful, and above all, show each other courtesy, respect, and love towards each other. This will actually help you build and sustain a good working relationship out for your job. It is a support worker's role to be open and honest about the relationship that you're building. You're building one that is both going to help you fulfill your duties and make the client's day better. We need to honestly be open to answer all their questions and let them give you the scenarios as best they can. Or you may need to ask their family what they like or dislike if they're non-verbal. Remember that the relationship you build between them and you is one that is so unique, and only sometimes they build a better relationship with strangers over their family. So don't be afraid if the mum says that this is not normally how they behave, because this could be a relationship that you're building and it grows and fosters. So we need to understand phosphorus means we need to grow the relationship. And we need to do this in a respectful manner towards them. Therefore, if they are walking around half naked and you're trying to get them to put clothes on, don't yell, don't scream. Get them to build the trust by asking them to come and choose their underwear or their pants that they would like to have on. And remember, the worst case scenario is if they won't wear anything and you're offended by it, get a towel and ask them, can you wrap it around them? Remember, consent is the ideal thing here. Till next time, please take care of your client and your participants and each other. Thank you.